Let's talk AI. There's been a ton of coverage, but I want to apply this to IT services companies and MSPs on this bonus episode of The Business of Tech. I'm covering a ton of AI news on the daily Business of Tech podcast. The stories are coming quickly and continuously. And so I want to take a moment here and explain why I think this is more than hype. We're constantly looking for the next big thing in technology. Often, emerging technologies are held up as that thing and fizzle. Where's the metaverse? How about that Web 3? 3D printing, anyone? Remember lights off automation? Or about when we talked about big data? I could keep going too. I've learned to be pretty jaded about emerging technology. Now, while I'm often an early adopter myself to try things out, there's a big difference between self-inflicted pain and advising customers. I don't mind being slower in recommending technology to customers to invest in, looking for practical applications and user eagerness. And wow, there is user eagerness. Users are adopting technology and AI quickly. ChatGPT's fastest in history so far, rise to 1 million users, is the first key factor to being more than hype. But let's observe that the more relevant data point is that they're sticking around. Fishbowl did a survey in January, and 27% of professionals say they've used ChatGPT or other AI tools for work-related tasks. But it's also getting used. Microsoft revealed that nearly half of the new code developers are contributing to GitHub is being created with the help of Copilot, which is the assistant built on similar technology to ChatGPT. That's a practical application, and more stories are appearing. One specific to the MSP world happened as ConnectWise announced its integration with ChatGPT. Theirs is a particular use case, the ability to ask for and create scripts on demand. This is the kind of adoption that sticks. Hey, I even used Bing AI for research. It reminded me of all those promising but unrealized technologies when I asked it. Think about the demos from just this past week or two. GPT-4 building the entire codebase for a website from a design drawn on a napkin. Microsoft Copilot creating a whole sales presentation in PowerPoint based on the Word document proposal. Google summarizing entire email threads to highlights and catching leadership up on the conversation. Let's envision some use cases. Think about technical support. Ask the chat agent for an answer and get it. Will end users do that? Probably not. Will your engineers? Absolutely. An infinite capacity engineer sitting next to a technician with insights into all written documentation seems pretty helpful to me. That said, approach will likely work very well for users within their field. Sure, they may not want to ask about computer support, but they'll want to have their own expertise augmented. Why we see such adoption by end users. This is the critical insight. Microsoft's use of the phrase Copilot is clever. I'm reminded of shadow IT, where users work around IT departments to get what they want. The use of this technology is shadow IT on speed, accelerated faster than ever, and owners may never know. A Fishbowl survey found that nearly 70% of employees using ChatGPT haven't told their bosses about it. 2.3% of workers have put confidential company information into it, per Cyberhaven's recent report. Stick your head in the sand and ignore this, or have some conversations with your clients. Now, there are two key sets of skills I want to focus on that are immediately apparent. First is model selection. While the buzz is around the productization of chatbots like ChatGPT, the underlying model used really matters. Take the AI-driven Seinfeld spoof show, Nothing Forever, which got attention when it went off the rails. To catch you up, if you haven't heard the story, it's an always-on stream driven by AI that created a continuous sitcom on Twitch. It was taken offline when it started making transphobic remarks, and the team behind it gave some insight into why. Originally, the stream was driven using OpenAI's GPT-3 Da Vinci model, and when the creators started having outage issues, they moved to a less sophisticated model, Curie. In the switch, the creators believed they were using the OpenAI content moderation system, and turns out they weren't. When you hear this show, they should be back online, and they're hoping it won't happen again, but they can't guarantee it. The training models underlying the AI are a crucial selection. The training model matters, just like the grape used to make wine will result in a very different flavor. Train a model on medical information, certain types of images, specific laws, or just on software code, or in a particular language. Understanding the training data and how it will impact the usefulness is a new skill. Besides a silly example like AI-driven sitcoms, you can take your own difference in models out for a spin. Try comparing ChatGPT, based on GPT 3.5, versus Bing AI's Chat, which we've learned is based on GPT-4. It's a distinct difference in both accuracy and response style. On images, there's Stable Diffusion versus DALL-E, trained on different datasets, resulting in different results. Second, the prompts, both applied to the model outside of user control and within the user control. Take the application of writing code. You can restrict a model to only producing code in a particular language within specific parameters. Or if you ask a model to return the voice of a specific author, or the style of a consultant versus a journalist, these prompts will matter. Remember the early hallucinations of Bing when it was revealed it was Sydney? It's a great story, but also a deliberate attempt to get the bot to go off the rails by using prompts. We've already seen the rise of the prompt engineer. Think an entire space of prompt engineering, yet for your clients. There's a final layer I want to add to this, and it's ethics. Let's look at Microsoft, which is led in thinking about ethics. They've built an Office of Responsible AI, and then specifically a team called Rail that is embedded in their engineering team that's responsible for the Azure OpenAI service. There's your approach, helping to embed the ethics framework within your services group, and then offering that service to your customers. It's a great service offering, a similar concept, and a logical extension of any data management services. It's not just about what data is collected. It's about ensuring that the data ingested is necessary, justifiable, and well managed. And here, the use of the data and associated data models to be done responsibly. I'm pretty optimistic about AI technology. I'm more excited about this technology than any other I have been in a while, because I can see practical applications right away, and I'm encouraged by the idea of delivering those to customers too. There's a space here, with needs for planning, for applications, for thoughtful consideration of data and ethics, and it's all tailored to what IT services companies do. Services. And that's why we care. Thanks for watching this bonus episode of the Business of Tech. If you like what you heard here, hit that like button and hit subscribe. It really helps, and I appreciate the time that you do that. Additionally, if you want to have a conversation, write something in the comments. I read them all, and dialogue is the point. I don't necessarily claim to be right. I do want to make sure that we've engaged correctly. If you really like this content, you can find it daily on the Business of Tech podcast. Go to businessof.tech, click the big blue subscribe button, and find the podcast on whatever podcatcher you like to listen on. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, or wherever fine podcasts are found. And if you want to help with the content delivery and want to get access to things early, I've got a Patreon. You can support me directly. Go to patreon.com/MSP Radio, and it's give what you want. You set the value of the content and help me make this kind of delivery on an ongoing basis. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you again soon.